Trump's construction obsession is not limited to the White House or even the nation's capital. He is also still obsessed with building that big old wall along America's southern border. In San Antonio, Texas, a Fox affiliate reports that bulldozers and construction equipment have entered Big Bend National Park. If you're not familiar, that is the massive, gorgeous national park in southern Texas along the banks of the Rio Grande. This is not a popular decision. It's not being taken lightly, and it is being denounced by Democrats and Republicans alike. And now a bipartisan group of Texas House members is urging Governor Greg Abbott to press the federal government to stop any demolition and border barrier construction in the park. The lawmakers describe the Big Bend area as, quote, unlike any other place along the Texas-Mexico border, citing mountains, cliffsides, and harsh climate as a God-given border barrier, adding that physical barriers have long been recognized as unnecessary. Back with me now are Harry Sisson, political content creator, and Aaron Parnas, digital journalist and political commentator. So, Harry, not even members of Donald Trump's own party want this big wall to be built through Big Bend. So what do you think it would actually take to get this construction to stop?
I mean, like, when Donald Trump has his mind set on something destructive, it kind of seems very difficult to get him off of that. I think the only way that you can maybe change his mind is with polling, showing him that his own voters, members of Congress that are aligned with him, don't like it. But it really is tragic. I mean, that national park or national parks around the country are gorgeous, and Donald Trump has destroyed many of them, opening them up to drilling federal land. And I guess my question to Republicans as we're going into the midterms is, how does this lower costs? How does this lower inflation? How does this make anybody's life better? I mean, that's what they ran on in 2024. They said, hey, to young men like me, they said, we're going to bring back the American dream. It's going to be great under Donald Trump's administration. Now what? We're destroying our national parks and inflation and unemployment are up? It's disastrous.
Well, if you think that immigration is the answer to every question, you know, right, then, like, of course, building this wall is going to bring grocery prices down. Aaron, the Texas Tribune writes, as Republicans from Senator John Cornyn to U.S. House candidate Brendan Herrera to local county judges and sheriffs push back on the wall plans, Attorney General Ken Paxton, who is the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate in Texas and a close ally of President Donald Trump, has remained tight-lipped. Asked whether Paxton supports construction of barriers and patrol roads in Big Bend, a spokesperson for the Attorney General's campaign did not say where he stands on the matter. Do you think, Aaron, that Paxton's silence should be a warning sign for Donald Trump?
I do, but I actually think Greg Abbott's silence is more of a warning sign to Donald Trump than Ken Paxton, because to me, Greg Abbott has, in a lot of ways, less of an issue winning re-election than Ken Paxton may have in November. And I think the fact that Greg Abbott has remained silent amongst all this bipartisan outrage and pressure is really significant. Now, I will just point out one thing. I am old enough to remember when Donald Trump said that he was going to build a wall and have Mexico pay for it. Mexico isn't paying for this border wall. The American people are paying for this border wall, and we are now 10 years since that original promise. The border wall was never built, and Mexico isn't paying for it, and we're paying for it. So I think that's something that the American people really need to remember.
That promise and the disillusionment that you feel over the brokenness of that promise feels almost quaint. Harry, do you think that any of this will be helpful to Tallarico as he's running to turn Texas blue, or at least one of the Senate seats in Texas blue?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're hearing from different members of Congress from both parties that they're not in favor of something like this, along with the many other things that Republicans have done nationwide. And if Tallarico can hammer this home and show, hey, you know, my opponent, the governor of the state, they're all quiet about this beautiful national park being destroyed by this administration, what else are they going to be quiet about? What else are they going to turn away and pretend it's not happening? I mean, the cowardice of the Republican Party and as candidates are running in these elections is really gross. And I think a lot of Democrats running in these swing states, a state like Texas, which really, I think a year ago, maybe we didn't consider to be a swing state, they have to point this out and jump on it. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, Aaron, I'm old enough to remember how back in 2024, there was this narrative that Latino voters were potentially lost forever to Democrats. The Latino Hispanic voters were upset about their cost of living. They blamed it on Joe Biden, and that they were becoming more culturally conservative and thus drawn to Donald Trump. What do you think the net effect of this construction of this border wall that Mexico, as you point out, is not paying for, plus the immigration raids, including going after people who have legal status, way their legal status? What do you think the net effect of all of these policies that this president is making will have on support for the Republican Party for the current generation of young Latinos, particularly young Latino men who had been drawn to the Trump message?
Well, I think a lot of young Latino men, and a lot of young men generally, voted for Donald Trump because they didn't know what Trump was like during his first term, and now they're seeing it in the first 18 months of his second term, and they're realizing they were sold a false bill of goods. I mean, I think at the end of the day, poll after poll has shown that Latino men and Latinos generally have shifted far away from the Republican Party, and specifically far away from this president over the past 18 months. Now, he may claim those are fake polls, and he is leading all of them, but at the end of the day, the reality on the ground is very different. You have in cities across the country Latinos coming out and saying, I voted for Donald Trump and I regret my vote. I regret my vote after seeing one of my community members being deported, a non-violent, non-criminal community member, now no longer in the United States of America for being inside. You're going to have young Latinos who love Big Bend National Park in South Texas come out and say that this is a step too far. I think ultimately we're going to see a significant shift, and all of the political pundits who claim that Democrats may never win back young Latino men and young men generally are going to be eating their words come November.
Thanks so much for your insights, Harry Sisson and Aaron Parnas. Coming up, tonight's Nightlight takes us to Japan, to a group of people who have dedicated their lives to ensuring that history does not repeat itself.